right now the main solution for the TCE plume, there were thoughts early on when, of course, you know, being involved back in the 90s was whether they could actually stop it, but it's so soluble in the water that there really is no economical way to take care of it. So that's why they've been just extending the municipal water system to hook everybody up.
Essentially, the site was discovered partly because of activities of the EPA, where they had set some wells along the property line, sampled them and found TCE. And then the state, without waiting, jumped in and started sampling residential wells. They said, well, wait a minute, if we know it's here, the CERCLA process can be very slow. You know, you've got to identify your PRPs or potentially responsible parties. And then it's very prescriptive in how that process begins and the types of studies that you do and the reporting that you do. And sometimes it's 1 to 2 years before you even really begin understanding the problem. So the state jumped in immediately, recognizing the risk to public health, and started sampling residential wells. And they found elevated concentrations of TCE in the residential wells right across the street from the plant. To them, that was unacceptable, and they moved to engage the community to develop a municipal water supply system. So the Mansalona Area Water and Sewer Authority was really a product of collaboration between the DEQ and local stakeholders to address the problem at Wicks. And Wicks wasn't the only site. There's another site, Tar Lake, which is located immediately to the south, that also impacts groundwater. So this water supply system that they started was really to address both of those issues, both potential Superfund sites. And in the case of Wicks, Mount Clements Industries and Wicks Manufacturing were both defunct. They had been replaced by Dura Automotive. Dura Automotive employed at the time, I think, between 300 to 500 people, running 2 shifts, and was really a core employer for the community. Under CERCLA, Dura may have been retained as a PRP, even though they never used the chemical trichloroethylene at the site. They never used TCE. Yet they would have been potentially financially on the hook to study and understand plume extent, take action to replace impacted wells. Just a very rigorous and onerous process for someone who never caused the problem. So the state's stance was that to protect those jobs, it was better that this become a DEQ priority rather than a CERCLA priority.
Most definitely. And I think it's to not do it for economic reasons, I think is kind of irresponsible, as we now see the long-term effects of it, obviously.
Now the ramifications are, astronomical.
Yeah.
Had they taken responsibility and really actually tried to prevent it, I think it would have been better. I think anyone who stands up and says, I did it, it's my fault, gets a star, at least for trying.
Right.
It's a coward thing to do, especially to this community. It's terrible.
I think it's more responsible for them to try and clean it. If I switch to my attorney hat, I would probably, if were they a client of mine and come in with that, I would have advised them to clean up, because I would, number one, think that it's better PR for your community to say that we're cleaning up your community, and rather than taking the risks that are out there. But I think anytime that you turn away the opportunity to get funding in order to clean up an environmental spill that you have made, you're making a big mistake.